Hi, I'm Jake Carvey for CoreMelt. In this 3-part Final Cut Pro 10 tutorial, we'll show how to use CoreMelt's powerful TrackX plugin to build up a special effects shot sequence with a wrist-mounted heads-up display from the near future. I will show how to set up things simply for high-quality automatic tracking, but also how to assess and quickly proceed when things need to be manually keyframed, including both on and off screen and adding motion blur. So let's kick it off by getting the main part of the sequence out of the way, tracking the HUD. Let's import our footage. We have a couple of shots from our shoot. The film footage is from a Panasonic GH5, shot in 4K 10-bit with the V-Log color profile at 24 frames a second. Some stock footage for our background, and some pre-rendered motion graphics for the HUD. Creating the motion graphics themselves is beyond the scope of this tutorial, but keep an eye out for something in the future. For final color correction, I will be using CoreMelt's chromatic log grade, but for now, go to Clip Info and choose Camera LUT Panasonic V-Log. While it's totally possible to work directly with our source footage, optimizing the clips does tend to speed these up and make the interaction snappier. So right-click on the clips and choose Transcode, Optimize Media. Select the in and out point for your shot, then add 1-second handles to the beginning and the end. This helps to ensure you have enough footage to make minor adjustments during the edit. Right-click and choose Make Project. Personally, I often find that the green screen background is distracting while I work on other parts of the shot, so I'm going to go ahead and knock that out quickly using Final Cut's own keyer. From the generator list, choose C2 TrackX Simple Tracker and drag it to the timeline above your source footage. During production, we have been careful to ensure that the area we are tracking has solid intentional movement, and that the markers, an LED light strip in this case, are not occluded or blocked by other scene elements. Select a frame somewhere along the timeline where the area to be tracked is in a neutral position. This will help provide the widest latitude for tracking forwards and backwards. Press the M button or choose Mark, Markers, Add Marker from the top menu. Using the TrackX on-screen controls, choose the Polygon tool and draw a basic shape that includes the LEDs but also a good section of the shirt sleeve. The tracker looks for distinct features but also wider areas of texture. To make the shape a smoother curve in the shirt section, Option left-click on a point and choose Interpolation Curve to Next or Previous Point. You should now have Bezier handles that work similar to other software. Shift left-click on the handle to break it for sharper corners. Now to add the HUD sequence. Locate and select your motion graphics clip, then select the TrackX layer in the timeline. In the TrackX Options panel, click the Insert Layer drop zone. Reselect your clip and choose Apply Clip. In the options, select Transform, Position, Rotation, and Scale, and then adjust the scale offset to an appropriate size, as well as position and rotation. Set the blend mode to screen and set the opacity to 50%. We will tweak these settings later. For now, we don't want the screen to block our view too much as we work. Now double check your tracking settings. In this case, we leave them at default. Press the forward tracking button and let it do its thing. When it comes to the edge of the screen, the tracker will stop and pop up a warning that it cannot go any further. Move backwards in the timeline, find the place where it starts to lose the track, and choose Delete Track Data Forward. Now go back to the marker at the frame where we started tracking and hit the Track Backwards button. Again, when the tracking stops, when the process stops, find the first frame where it loses the track and select Delete Track Data Backward. The trick now is to keyframe the position and rotation and possibly scale to follow the trajectory off screen at the beginning and the end of the shot. Double check that the auto keyframe button is on. Go forward to the last tracked frame at the end of the shot. Grab the tracking shape and move it very slightly to set a keyframe. Jump forward on the timeline to a spot where the entire HUD should be off screen and move it to your best guess for its position. You may need to zoom out your view in order to accomplish this. As you create the keyframes for each of these changes, always add a marker on the timeline for a quick visual reference in addition to the TrackX keyframe indicators. We will use these later when we're adding motion blur and other effects. Do the same for the beginning. What we notice, however, is that the HUD motion graphics are actually facing the wrong way. The text should be readable to the character and be backwards for us. We also want to edit the HUD sequence a little bit to match up better with the finger actions. Scrub through the timeline and note down the timecode for the various finger actions. Locate the HUD clip in the browser and right-click to create compound clip. Choose the HUD clip on the timeline and set Transform X Scale to be -100%. Now we can slice and dice the clip a little bit to make some appropriate cuts to match the finger movement a little bit better based on the time codes that we wrote down. Once again, click on the Insert Layer drop zone, click on your newly created compound clip, and then click Apply Clip. The final step for this first video in this multi-part tutorial is to add some motion blur to the HUD so it better matches and blends with the rest of the shot. Luckily, TrackX comes with its own motion blur. All we need to do is open the settings, click High Quality, and 180-degree shutter. And that's it for this installment. For the next, we will focus on adding the finger interaction as well as showing how things might work when filmed from the reverse angle.